Israelite Torah studies. We're learning about Bamidbar and Shavuot together. So the idea today is to analyze. Okay, good evening, welcome to JLI Torah. Is to analyze the idea of equality and individuality. You know, of the events that shaped the world as we have it today, the French Revolution is something very unique because there was a big tension, right, between the simple people and the upper crust, but it wasn't just that. It was a set of ideas, a spirit of liberty and equality that until then the world hadn't seen. So the revolution, while there was some very violent and gruesome parts to it, was that the spirit was very noble because until that point in human history, there was always a ruling class that was kind of taking advantage, and most of the people suffered under, let's say, kings or religious authorities or just wealthy people that took advantage. And the people said, no more, we want liberty, equality, and fraternity. And those were the basis for what true democracy that we have today. So it's obviously important to have these values. And today we're going to talk about equality on the Torah way. So some people believe that we have to grant everybody equal opportunity. So do you do that? If you are a team captain, let's say, you give each child the opportunity to be a quarterback, or perhaps there is someone that has the ability to be a quarterback and he should do that, and other players should do other things. So where do you draw the line? Do we give everybody the same opportunity, or we realize that some people have abilities that others don't, and we treat them accordingly? It's interesting that our Constitution, it's based on this idea of equality, and the Declaration of Independence starts with these words: we hold this truth to be self-evident that all men are created equal, that they are endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, that among these are life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. So these ideas are not limited to the United States or France, but all over the globe. And for a good reason, these are eternal truths. So the question is, if we really are all created equal, yet we all look different. And God created us to look different. So are we supposed to look different yet grant each one an equal opportunity? Or there is a reality that they are different, and we have individual needs and opportunities, and we have to recognize that. So what is the line that reconciles the conflicting notions of equality and individuality? So first argument will be equality for all, that we're all one unit as we're getting ready to receive the Torah on Mount Sinai. And this is, by the way, why we always read Parshat Bamidbar, the Parshat, the means in the desert, that the desert is doesn't belong to anybody, it's flat, it's equal everywhere, because Bamidbar, the desert, and the receiving of the Torah are very connected, as we'll see from text number 1, Shemot 19, בחודש השלישי לצאת בני ישראל מארץ מצרים, ביום הזה באו מדבר סיני. And it says, ויחן שם ישראל נגד ההר. which means in the third month of the children of Israel departure from Egypt. On this day, they arrived in the desert of Sinai. They journeyed from Rephidim and they arrived in the desert of Sinai, and they encamped in the desert, and Israel encamped there opposite the mountain. Now, Va'ichan is and he camped in singular in Hebrew, not in plural. It doesn't Vayachanu, as it says in every other stop that the Jewish people made in the desert. So this was the first event that we experienced in the Sinai desert, and the Torah points this out, and it makes the halacha. Jewish law says that you must read this parasha Bamidbar before the holiday of Shavuot, as the Shulchan Aruch says on text number 2, Leolam korim Parshat Vayikra Sinai kodem atzeret. The Torah portion of Vayikra is always read before the holiday of Shavuot. So what's the big connection here? Because what happened on that first day that they camped, text number 3, Va'ichan sham Israel ke'ish echad belev echad, אבל שאר כל החנויות בתרומות ומחלוקת. And Israel encamped there, Rashi explained, as one man with one heart. But all other encampments were with complaints and with strife. So the fact, as we said before, it doesn't say Vayachanu and they camped, but it says in singular, like one person, because they were like one heart, all united. There was a beautiful togetherness, and this was a prerequisite to receive the Torah. So every other time that they camped, there was strife, there was argument, there is complaints. Some things never changed, right? So, but there was one time that they were all together, and then God said, okay, here I'm giving them the Torah. Why? Because unity is a prerequisite for Torah. As we say in our daily prayers, that the way to receive blessings from Hashem, the vessel to receive that blessings is unity. Let's see the end of the Amidah, text number 4. Sim shalom, tova uvracha, bestow peace, goodness, and blessing, life, graciousness, kindness, and mercy upon us and upon all of your people, Israel. Bless us, our Father, all of us as one, with the light of your countenance. For by the light of your countenance you gave us, Lord our God, the Torah of life and loving kindness, righteousness, blessings, mercy, life, and peace. May it be favorable in your eyes to bless your people Israel at all times and every moment with your peace. So, the shalom, the emphasis is in these words, because the way to receive blessing is only when we are together as one. And this is also stressed on the very end of the Mishnah, all of the Talmud, says, Lo matzah kadosh baruch hu kli machzik v'racha leYisrael lo hashalom, shenemar Hashem oz le'amo yiten, Hashem yevarech et amo b'shalom. The Holy One, blessed be He, found no vessel that could contain blessing for Israel, save that of peace. As it is stated, God will give strength unto His people. God will bless His people with peace. So, okay, unity is important. How do we achieve this? It's nice, it's easy to say, I love everybody, but is it possible really to love everybody equally? So, the Alter Rebbe says not only it's possible, but it's a cornerstone of Judaism, and it will tell us how to achieve this unity at such a level of ke'ish echad v'lev echad, like one man with one heart. Text number 6. It is possible in as much as our souls are all paired one with the other, with one parent. Thus, all Jews are called siblings by virtue of the root of their souls in the one God. It's only the bodies that are distinct. So there is 2 ways to go through life. Either you look at the physical, at the body, or the spiritual, the soul. When I look at somebody else and I see that his nose is different than mine, or his color skin, or whatever, it looks different, I say, this is a different person. Nothing to do with him. Look how different he is. And this is something that Jews are good, by the way, to point out. As Alan Dershowitz once shared the story at the Kinus Ashluchim, at the Chabad Convention of Rabbis. He was a guest speaker, and he said that people asked him, how come you're going to speak to Chabad? You know, there is certain things that you don't share with them. And he answered, yes, Jews are specialists at that. We can find differences with anybody, anytime. But the truth is that most Jews, we share 95% of our views, we all share. There is 5% that we differ. Yes, there is. Are we expert on finding that 5%? Yes, we are. We should learn to look at the 95%. We should learn to look at things that unite us, that brings us together, rather than things that set us apart. So the Alter Rebbe says two ways to look. If you look at the body of somebody else, if you look at the physical, you can never love them as you love yourself. Many reasons. If I have my favorite cheesecake now for Shavuot, and physical is important, then the more cheesecake I have for myself, because physical is important, the happier I'll be, the less inclined I'll be to share with others. But if the spiritual is the important, I'm sharing the experience of the cheesecake with others, then I'll slice very thin slices. Everybody will have a taste of the flavor, and I'd rather enjoy it in company of friends and family than have it all for myself. So if you look at the physical, you can never share with others. You can never love somebody. So if you look at the soul, it's a different story. Why? Because we all share one Father. All our souls come from the one first fire, one energy of Hashem. Like a flame, when you light a candle, from that candle, that flame, you can light 1,000 candles, and your original flame will not be any smaller. That's why souls are compared to candles. Ner Hashem Nishmat Adam. The candle of God is the soul of the human. So when I look at somebody else as a soul, not a body, and his soul is part of Hashem, just like my soul is, and we are absolute brothers because we have the same Father, and we are absolutely equal because all souls come from Hashem, then it's very easy to love somebody else. So the secret is to be focused on the spiritual.
Yeah. Honey. Did you want to start?
Sorry about that. Okay. To be able to look past the physical and connect on a spiritual level with everybody. Okay. To get an example of how can we get past some of those physical barriers, imagine soldiers in the battlefield with bullets flying right over them. All of a sudden, things seem clear. What's important and what's irrelevant. The unity and the self-sacrifice that these soldiers experience, the unbelievable stories of brotherhood and self-sacrifice that one soldier will do for the other, is someone that wasn't in a battlefield can never understand that. All of a sudden, when the bullets and bombs are all around you, you're not concerned about the body odor of your friends or the person next to you. All the physical things that we put so much mind and think about it so much, they all become irrelevant. Why? because lives are at stake, and the unity is achieved because everybody is fighting for a common goal. Everybody wants to survive together. They all have an enemy, a common enemy to defeat, and that brings them together in a way that it's very difficult to imagine in a different way. But right now, humanity is fascinating. I find fascinating. For the first time, we're all together fighting against a common enemy, which is this virus. And we all have the same goal, which is to be healthy and survive. So in a sense, this unity, it's a preparation for Mashiach's arrival. Just like the unity was a prerequisite for receiving the Torah, the unity that we're experiencing worldwide is a beautiful vessel for the ultimate blessing that will be the unity of all humans to serve Hashem with the awareness that Mashiach will bring. So, when you focus on the spiritual, what picture emerges of everybody the same? So, you could think then that Judaism advocates for radical equality, like kind of a Marxist utopia that all individuality is lost. Is this the case? Are we all really the same? Should I force my musically talented child to go to the gym because all these brothers have done that and they have their athletically inclination, so therefore you should always also do that? Or maybe let him practice his musical instrument while others exercise. So the question is, does Judaism advocate for wiping away all individuality? Or we recognize that people are different, we have different talents, and if that's so, how do we balance this idea of equality and individuality? So let's see the other side of the coin, which is recognizing individuality. Why? Because individuality could be a pathway to peace, as we'll see soon. Sodom, the famous corrupt city, was advocating for radical equality, but this was expressed in a very evil way. How? Let's see text number 7. Midrash Haggadah tells us about the Sodomite moralist. So when a pauper will enter Sodom and thereafter wish to leave, they will immediately lay him down in a short bed. The portion of his legs that will extend over the edge of the bed will be cut off. If that person was short, they will lie him down in a long bed, hold him down and stretch him out until his body filled the bed. They will do this until he died. So they were pushing for this radical equality. Everybody had to fit in a bed. If he was too tall, cut off his leg. If he was too short, stretch him until he died. But that type of equality is not good. Where humans cannot be made to fit into a mold. This type of equality is dangerous, damaging, or both. Now, our parasha, you can argue that it's a little boring. There is not much drama in our parashas. There is a lot of counting and a lot of positions of the tribes where each one was, a lot of numbers and names, but we will find a beautiful midrash that brings a whole different light into this. Text number 8. Says the children of Israel should encamp each man by his division with the flagstaff of their father's house some distance from the temple of meeting, they should encamp. Those camping in front to the east were the legions under the division of camp of Judah, the prince of Israel. Yehuda was Nachshon, the son of Aminadab. The legions under the camp of Reuben were to the south, and so on. It's not relevant, the whole text, but the idea is that there were 4 camps. Each one had its own flag, and the symbols of the 3 tribes that were in that camp were in that flag. So Yehuda, Issachar, and Zvulun were at the east, Reuven, Shimon, and Gad to the south, Ephraim, Menashe, and Benjamin to the west, and Dan, Asher, and Naphtali to the north. And the Leviim were in the middle, and the Mikdash, the temple, was inside, protected by all sides from the Leviim. So God didn't say just march any way you want, or all together as one. No. Each one had his space, his flag, his position. And this was not imposed by God. Rather, it was a request that the Jewish people made. Why did we ask to have flags, to have colors, to have positions? The Midrash Bamidbar Rabbah tells us a beautiful story. Text number 9. When God appeared to the Jewish people at Mount Sinai, 22,000 angels came with him, all under the banner of different flags. When the Jews saw that they were grouped under different flags, they were roused with a desire for flags as well, stating, we wish we could make flags like that. Not because the flags were so colorful or so fancy, but we'll see. So God says, you want flags? By my life, your request will be fulfilled. Immediately, God informed the Jewish people of the command and told Moshe to instruct the Jewish people to make flags as they wish. So why did the flags are so important? What if my flag is blue or red or green? Which, by the way, the colors were the same of the stones that the Kohen Gadol had in his chest in the Choshen Mishpat. But there was a deeper lesson. Why were the Jews impressed by the flags of the angels? Text number 10 from Rabbi Clonimus Kalman Halevi says like this. The Jews saw the angels under the flags, namely that no angel intruded into her colleague's lane. Michael doesn't intrude into Gabriel's lane, etc. Rather, every angel stays in his line and perceives godliness accordingly. The Jews wished for the same thing, stating, if only we could do the same thing, if only no one will push another to try and reach past the appropriate level for them. God said for Moshe, do it for them. In other words, in as much as you wanted flags, namely that no one will intrude into the next person's lane, rather, every person should receive what's appropriate to their level of readiness, do it. The Levites will be in one group, the rest of the Jews in another, each one in their own group, some on the east, others on the south. Everybody will associate with their own likeness, for the tribes that come under one flag were associated with one another. There was no random. There was a reason why they were like this. But let's understand why the angels had their flags first. Because angels, unlike humans, they are one-dimensional beings. An angel could do one thing at a time, as we see the story of the 3 angels that came to Abraham Avinu. Raphael comes to do refuah, to heal. That's what he does. Gabriel is the one of strength. He comes to punish. So they have a style. They have a function. They have a way that they work. And they cannot do multiple missions at once, especially if they require different approaches. The Midrash explains there that healing and saving sometimes could be done by Raphael, but very similar things could be done by one angel. And the Jewish people saw that, and that kind of order and respect. And they said, okay, we like that. We like that individuality. We don't want to be like one blob of people. So And this individuality was not just the tribe, but each person is viewed in Judaism as a unique individual, as the famous words of King Solomon in the book of Mishle Proverbs, Chanoch ladar al pi darko, gam ken yazkin lo yasur mimenu. Text number 11, train a child according to his way. Even when he grows old, he will not turn away from it. So, what does it mean? It doesn't mean that if a child is lazy, you encourage that laziness. So its way means that we know there is different intelligence. There is people that are more visual, people that are more audio. It's easier for them to listen, some to see, some to feel. So each teacher has to connect with the student, realize what their abilities are, and help them grow. So if I have someone that is a great swimmer, I'm not going to force him to play baseball because that's what I like, or that's what his brothers are doing. And the Pirkei Avot elaborates on this as a pedagogical thesis. It says, text 12, there are 4 types of disciples. Quick to comprehend and quick to forget, his gain disappears in his loss. Slow to comprehend and slow to forget, his loss disappears in his gain. Quick to comprehend and slow to forget, he is a wise man. Slow to comprehend and quick to forget, this is a bad portion, unlucky. It's interesting that here it translates evil portion rather than because if you put your heart into something, you will not forget. And if you put your heart into something, if you love a topic, if you want to learn Torah, like the story of Rabbi Akiva, if there is the desire, there will be the comprehension. So, but where does this come from? Why we are different? The Alter Rebbe explains that there is a spiritual root to every soul, and that spiritual root has a strong influence on how you behave in the world. Let's see text number 13. Even in the case of the laws governing things prohibited and permitted, which have been revealed to us and to our children, we find difference of opinion among Tanaim and Amoraim, from one extreme to the other. Yet, these as well as these are words of the living God, a reference to the source of life for the souls of Israel, which are generally divided into 3 categories: right, left, and center. Chesed, kindness; Gvura, discipline; and Tiferet, which means balance. Accordingly, those souls that stem from the category of kindness are likewise inclined towards kindness in the leniency of their decisions and so forth, as is known. If diversity of legal opinions are subject to the source of one's soul, there will be certainly be diversity with those matters that are more private, namely the emotions of love and fear of God, every person according to how they estimate in their own heart. So diversity and individuality are expected, for even though we're all children from one God and all our souls come from one Hashem, yet each soul is taken from a different part of godliness. It has a different percentage of chesed, of gura, of tiferet. As the Rebbe, the Kotzker Rebbe says in his unique style, text 14, אם אני או אני ואתה הוא אתה, בגלל שאני לא אתה ואתה לא אני, אז אני לא אני ואתה לא אתה, אבל אם אני או אני ואתה הוא אתה, כי אני או אני ואתה הוא אתה, אז אני או אני ואתה הוא אתה. Sounds better in Hebrew. I'll read the English. If I am because I am, and you are because you are, then I am I, and you are you. But if I am because you are you, and you are you because I am I, then I am not, I and you are not you. So we have some sources for individuality, and the Shevet, each tribe should be recognized as their own. And on the other hand, we also see the importance of equality. So how is it? Which one is it? Are we supposed to all meld into one unit, or we stress the power of the individual? So from one hand, we saw the absurdity of Sodom's behavior. If someone was too tall, they cut off his legs, and we can't expect everybody to be the same. But on the other hand, we saw that the ultimate blessing to receive the Torah was when everybody was keish echad v'lev echad, like one man with one heart. So we'll see now on the final section that we all complement each other. We are different limbs of one body. And when we recognize everyone as unique and we value each person and we treat them all equal, we realize it's no contradiction, rather that we complement each other beautifully. As the Alter Rebbe says in text 15, in Kol Israel em koma achat shleima, which means every Jew is part of one large body. For every Jew possesses a certain quality that no one else does. And together, they all complement each other. It turns out that everybody possesses a certain quality that places them at an advantage over the next person. And in that respect, the next person needs them. Take the human body, for example, with its prerequisite parts, the head all the way to the feet. Yes, the feet are the lowest part, and the head is far superior. Yet, in a certain respect, the feet have the distinction that the head needs them to go anywhere. What's more, the feet literally uphold the entire body, including the head. It turns out that the head is incomplete without the feet. The same is with the body of the Jewish people. It turns out that even for the person who thinks that they are ahead relative to the counterpart, the reality is that they are lacking without the other person. There is a hole in their soul that the other person feels. Realizing that, to humiliate and subdue them in the face of the counterpart. As we learn Pirkei Avot, we must look at every single person as if he has something to teach me, superior to me in one way at least. So now we realize that between the two views, there is no conflict at all. Because the true way to unite is to recognize the uniqueness of each individual and that we all need each other. Yes, we all have unique talents, tendencies. We're all created different, yet we're all equal in the eyes of Hashem. Nobody is greater than the other. Now, you can say, okay, wait a second. There is a general and the foot soldier. And you can't say they're both the same. The truth is that while the general is in a higher position than the foot soldier, an army of generals will get nowhere. Without the soldiers, there is no purpose for generals. They're useless. So when both realize this, and they think that the way to achieve unity is to understand the uniqueness in each one and we complement each other, that is what creates togetherness. So if everybody will be the same and doing the same, it will be just one big copy and paste, which will be a tremendous waste. We don't need everybody to do the same. We need each person to feel necessary. Without that, it's just discord and disconnection. But when each one realizes that is different and therefore is unique and important, then there is real shalom. Now, it's easier to say than implementing this in our hearts and psyche. But just like in the mitzvot, there are many levels, and we can't equalize things because we'll be unhealthy. Chaos will be. As the Alter Rebbe tells a beautiful story in text 16, it goes like this: when the soul descends from on high to integrate into a physical body, it has a particular mission, and we must be careful not to end up as one of those wandering souls. The Alter Rebbe told the story of a wealthy man and his wagon driver. Back in the day, pious wealthy merchants would only travel on business during certain seasons, using the rest of the time to study Torah. It happened once that a certain wealthy man arrived with his wagon driver to a city Friday afternoon before Shabbat. The wealthy man went to the mikveh in honor of Shabbat, dressed in his Shabbos finery, and made his way to the shul. On the way, he saw a large wagon stuck in the mud on the road. Aware of the mitzvah to aid a stranded traveler, he went to go on and help the wagon driver. Not used to heavy labor, he got completely filthy and worn out, hurting and maiming himself in the process. Eventually, he made it into the synagogue to pray, filthy and hurt. The wagon driver, stronger fellow without so many means, also went on to the shul after washing up for Shabbat. Arriving early, he passed the time reading Tehillim. He met a few poor travelers and invited them over to eat the Shabbat meal with him, getting a guest list of 10 people. After the davening, when the Gabbai of the synagogue wished to split the guests between the various members of the community, all the travelers explained that the driver already took them all. So it happened after the prayers, the wealthy man got to his home by himself, bruised and hurting, and the wagon driver took to his home 10 guests. The wealthy man fulfilled the mitzvah of aiding travelers, while the wagon driver fulfilled the mitzvah of inviting guests, but his resources were limited. So after 120 years, when both arrived the heavenly court, it was ruled that the wagon driver must return to this world to fulfill the mitzvah of helping travelers, and the wealthy man will have to return to fulfill the mitzvah of inviting guests. Everyone has their unique mission. We must know that that mission is not to be mistaken, switching it with somebody else. But from the perspective of God, who assigns each mission, they're all the same. Doesn't matter if you're a wagon driver, you're supposed to help someone with a wagon. If you have the ability to invite many people home, do that, but don't switch, because the lesson of the story that we all have unique missions based on the unique abilities and blessings that God gives us. And to switch with someone else is a crime. Now, no one is more valuable in the eyes of God than the other. God gives you a mission, you do it, that is great. So, going back to Sinai, what happened there? There was a complete sense of unity among all the Jews. We all became like newborn babies. That's one of the reasons why we eat dairy, we drink milk on Shavuot, just like babies, and all ready to receive the word, the teachings from Hashem. And that's also one of the reasons why we bring children to shul. Very important to hear 10 commandments. So we're all like newborn babies that don't even speak yet. We're all starting from zero in front of Hashem. Text number 17, the name of the Rebbe. says all children from the age of 1 month, even tiny infants, should go with their parents to hear the Torah being read, especially the 10 commandments on Shavuot. They should do so in a holy place with a congregation of many tens of people, with a blessing prior and following the reading. This replicates the scene of the giving of the Torah at Mount Sinai. I ask Hashem, please help us that they should be able to have minyanim for Shavuot and read the 10 commandments from the Torah, as it's so important. Baruch Hashem, the worst of the virus seems to be over now. We should be very careful and follow all the safety guidelines, but should do our best to try to read the 10 commandments from a Torah with a minyan and celebrate Shavuot, as the Rebbe stressed so much the importance of listening every single Jew, even the babies, to the 10 commandments on this special holiday. Text number 18, Ramban says, all the commandments were stated in a singular language to give warning that every individual is personally responsible for the mitzvot and will be punished accordingly. No one should think that punish will only be meted out communally when the majority sins, and that individuals will get away with sin. So while Ramban stresses a negative, but on a negative context really, but we all share a individual responsibility towards the Torah, and our individual connection to the Torah is so precious, so important as a mitzvah, that each one should write a Torah. Now, it's not so easy to write a whole Torah, therefore today we have a beautiful mitzvah to buy a letter in the Torah. And if you didn't yet, I strongly encourage everybody, I will put the links later, to buy your own letter in a Torah scroll. It's very affordable, very easy, and it's a great mitzvah. So to sum up what we learned today, do we give everyone equal opportunity? Do we give the same attention to all our children, students, and friends? Of course not. We have to use our intelligence to give each one what he needs. We shouldn't cut off someone's opportunities. If someone is more gifted, to give to someone who is less talented. And obviously the other way around. Not everybody is destined to achieve the same thing. We don't have identical missions, but we have to keep in mind that all missions are equally important, especially in the eyes of Hashem. Not everybody is supposed to give millions of dollars to tzedakah. It's not expected from all of us. And if someone puts all his energy into making money and he doesn't manage to do that, he'll be frustrated. Perhaps it's not his calling to do that. He's supposed to help others emotionally, intellectually. So we have to recognize we all each have our unique contributions to society. And just like a symphony is not made of 100 people playing the same instrument, but when there is a piano and trumpet and violin and drums and flutes, there is true harmony in different sounds, with each one has his unique voice and plays it the best way that he can. So this is what we should strive for. See what is our voice, what is our ability, what is our contribution to the world, and give it our best. And Hashem will crown our efforts with success until the ultimate success, that what we want is just be again like Matan Torah, like in Shavuot, Ke'ish echad v'lev echad, stand all together to receive Torah Chadasha Me'iti Tetzeh, a whole new level in the Torah that we will learn when Mashiach comes. Let's make our best effort, let it be very soon, that to receive the ultimate blessing of building the third Bet HaMikdash. Amen. If you have any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, Mika, for joining.
Yom Yerushalayim Sameach.
Yom Yerushalayim Sameach. Yes, everybody should have a happy Yom Yerushalayim. Sorry about that. Ian, thank you for joining us. Aliza. Okay, we'll have next class, God willing, tomorrow at 9 a.m. And Ronen, you can call me whenever you're ready. Laila Tov.
Thank you.
Okay.
Lila Tov.
Laila Tov, Ian. Thank you for joining.